Let me tell you a story.
Welcome to My Skeptical Sister.
I'm Megan, the skeptical one.
I'm Erin, the believer. Are you going to tell everybody about our epic fight?
What was our fight? We got into a fight? Oh, the one where I just lost my phone, so you thought that I was mad at you?
Yeah, progressively by the minute, I'm like, I've done something horrible. It started Friday night when I sent you a text and your response was, yes. No exclamation point, no smiley face, just yes. I'm like,
I was in the moment.
Okay,
I was enjoying my lovely husband surprised me with a Valentine's Day package and this whole fun thing. And so I'm trying to be in the moment with him. And I see that you text me and I'm like, I don't want to be a jerk to him. So I was just like, yes.
yeah, I was like, oh, all right. Okay, cool. I won't.
It was just also, you knew I was going out with him. What a weird time to ask me a question.
I didn't know you were, I forgot you were going out with him.
But you knew that I was at one point.
Like you told me as
Now
you were
we really are
leaving.
going to get into a fight.
You told me as you were leaving, like from recording. Oh, James has taken me out. No, I guess when you came to borrow my Instapot. James has taken me out for Valentine's Day. That was a day before.
I'm sorry. I should have
Okay.
sent you a reminder. Hey, girl, remember I'm going out with James tonight.
Don't text me.
If you don't hear from me right away, it's because I'm in the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, yes, nothing else. And then the next morning, I'm like, I ask you a question, nothing. I send you a little funny thing, nothing. And I'm like, okay, it's now like 10 o'clock. Like each of these messages were like, one was at 8, one was at 9. Finally at 10, I'm like, are we
What
good?
does it say about you, Erin?
I know. I don't care. At 10 o'clock, I sent you a GIF like, hey, we good? And then it was still crickets. And I was like, oh my gosh, she is mad at me.
But
So-
you could also see that I hadn't read any of them.
I didn't know that you knew that I had turned on your read thing.
Oh, I know that because I have yours on, and I know that
That's
you know.
not how that goes. I set it up. You've never had it on. You don't have it on for everybody. I specifically went in when I was helping you set up your phone and turned it on for me.
Oh my gosh, I'm learning so
I
much
wasn't
about
going
you
to tell
right
you
now.
that ever.
Now I know.
But I was still like, what? You could be looking up at the preview and being like, nope.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
Miles came over at one point and I was like, hey, what's your mom doing? Is she home? She was like, yeah. I said, what's she doing? I think she's asleep. I'm like, oh, thank the Lord. I mean, it's like 11, but okay. And then later, like it wasn't not until like 1 that you finally sent a message and you're like, oh, sorry, my phone was hidden, whatever. And then like,
And even that wasn't a good enough response for you.
No.
You were like, you've been missing for 72 hours and that's all you have to say to me? I'm like, oh my God.
and then all day, like I was like, okay, let's just make sure we're good. And I'd send you something funny and it was like, okay.
What? Okay. All right.
I just
okay.
want you to be a little bit more obsessed with me than you clearly are.
Okay. I'm sorry that you were feeling like the level of need was not reciprocated.
Uh-huh.
It was, but let me tell you the state of mind. So it turns out that I am not 21 anymore. And when there's an open bar,
Oh.
I get the mentality of a 21-year-old Megan who is like, well, but when I say open bar, I mean, he bought a package which included alcohol.
Oh.
And so, of course, he was also going, babe, get your money's worth. Like, we got to get our
Yeah.
money's worth. So he kept egging me on. So, girl, I drank myself silly Friday night. Like, ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty sure we have new best friends. They live in Illinois. I think they might be going on a trip with us in March.
Oh my gosh.
This is what I'm talking about. Drank myself silly. Like, I was 21 years old again, making friends with random people. Like, hey, and just, we had a blast. But I am still in recovery. Like, I'm drinking a little bit of wine right now, and I'm kind of regretting the fact that I'm drinking it. So here's what we found out. That Megan is not, I don't spring back like I used to. Had no idea where my phone was. The next morning I wake up, I'm like, what is going on? The kids are like, the TV's broke. I'm like, the TV's broke? No. Like, that's the one thing I can count on is just turn the TV on. So I get up and I'm like, how did you all break the TV? This is like 7 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, we didn't break it. I don't know. We were watching it last night. I'm so pissed off. I'm like, and it won't turn on. Yeah, it's just because something I've always known, the light switch right next to the TV has to be turned on.
Oh.
Someone had turned it off. That took me till about 10 o'clock to realize that that's what that was.
Oh my gosh.
I also could not find my phone anywhere, and I'm looking everywhere for it. It never dawned on me to go out to the truck and look for it in the truck. So when I say like drank myself silly, I mean like I don't know what kind of permanent damage I did. I hope it's just minimal. But there was definitely some Saturday morning. And James was no better. He was no help because it was also, by the way, at a bourbon place. So it was like all inclusive bourbon and all the drinks were, so it was just sloppy mess by the end of the night.
Oh my gosh.
It was so much fun though.
The main takeaway I'm taking from this is that you have a new best friend that you're going to travel with. And I'm back to being mad again.
Her name's Caitlin. Oh my gosh. And what I mean by that is, she's lovely though. She and her husband, they're great. I think they're way too young for us.
Okay, great, Caitlin. I can't wait to meet you at the next barbecue.
Oh my gosh. Anyway. No, I think by the, I was just like schmoozing it up with this cute, sweet little couple. And then at one point I'm like, oh my God, they're going to totally think that like James and I are swingers, which we're not. So like, because at one point they were very sweet and they were from Illinois and they were talking about like how they even thought about moving to Louisville because they love Louisville and did all this stuff. And so they just kind of wanted to come give it another try. I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm telling them all these great things. And then as the night progressed, they didn't have the package. So I was like, oh, I'll just keep buying myself and James drinks. And then he'll go up there and he'll buy you guys drinks. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So of course they like keep coming over and hanging out with us because they're getting free drinks. And then at one point they were hungry. So I said, oh, we should go to Melwood Tavern. They've got great food. James will drive. And it was at that point that we were getting into the truck that I'm thinking, they have got to think we're up to something. But at the same time, they're both going with it. And so
maybe they were into it.
I know. So once we get in the truck, I made it, of course, in my awkward way. I've had a lot of awkward moments this weekend. Known that that's what my mind was thinking. I was like, by the way, we're not swingers. And they both died laughing, including James. He was like, oh my gosh, Megan. I'm like, well, I just want to make sure that we all knew that. Like, we're all aware that we're cool, but we're not that cool. And they laughed and they were like, well, we thought maybe you thought we were. And I was like, oh no, trust me. I don't think you would be into these two old folk. That'd be really weird if you were, because they were like young and hot. Anyway, talking a lot because it makes me nervous just thinking about it. The fact that they probably thought that we were trying to do something with them.
I think you solved it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they think that.
It was a good time. And then by the end of it, we were having so much fun. She's like, you guys are just the best. And I was like, she's like, we just love going to the new cities. I said, well, we might be going to Nashville, or we are going to Nashville. I was like, next month, we have extra room in our Airbnb. And I'm like, they really are going to think that I am up to something. If not this trip, maybe we'll try it next trip.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, definitely been replaced as your travel buddy.
Not. You're ridiculous.
My weekend was so boring. I've done nothing. It's actually been kind of awesome.
Yeah, I bet. Well, you're like always on the go.
I've barely put a bra on. There's no bra today at all.
That is lovely.
I haven't put on makeup all weekend.
Yeah, that's living the dream. I haven't either.
I didn't.
Since Friday night.
Okay. I was like,
because I mean, I
put a little makeup
barely
on.
got like, I would get out of bed and then take another nap Saturday and then get out of bed and then take another nap. Once the TV was fixed, I'm like, you all are on your own.
At one point, I had to make myself erase a text that said, why aren't you obsessed with me today? And then I was like, that's too much. I'm going to erase it. I had it typed out.
I'm back to being obsessed with you. I'm so sorry.
Fine.
I'm so sorry.
Fine.
I was just had a lot going on.
I needed us to be back in person, so I knew we were good.
Oh, we are totally good. Girl, we are totally good.
Okay, well, cool. I guess this is over. See you guys later.
No, like this feels awkward. I guess I'm just like in an awkward all weekend long. Like I was awkward with the swingers. And then today I had a really awkward encounter at Meijer, which is usually my comfort place.
Yeah. What happened?
So there's this guy made it awkward. I didn't make it awkward. I was just, like you said, no makeup all weekend long. Yeah. Well, today I woke up and I was like still feeling like shit. And I'm like, oh God, I got to go get grocery shopping in the snow and the flood. That's disgusting. So I'm like, just do it. You got to go. You have nothing in the house. No coffee. I had to borrow coffee from you. And here you are mad at me. So
yeah, I didn't want to. I spit in it. No,
I bet you did.
I didn't.
So anyway, I go, and so I'm looking like hell. And I know that I look like hell. And I'm thinking, man, the last 2 times I was here, I ran into Chad. I really hope if I run into anybody, it's Chad because he does not care. But I was hoping I didn't run into anybody. But I was aware of the level of like, just disheveled that I looked. Yeah, disheveled was the word. But then this guy, who, by the way, equally disheveled looking, he didn't look like he was like just woke up and, manscaped and groomed and did everything he needed to do to go to
Manscaped.
Myers.
Sounds like
I'm just saying,
down
he
low.
didn't look like he put any effort into anything he did either.
Okay, I've never once looked at a clothed man and be like, I bet he just manscaped.
Oh, whatever. I could be like, that guy, I bet he takes real good care of himself. Anyway, this guy, no. Mm-mm. And all of a sudden I walk by him and he goes, well, I dropped a roll of like toilet paper. That isn't that nice and lovely. A roll of toilet paper like right in front of him because it just like slipped out of my hands. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I went to grab it up and he was like, oh, looks like you've had a hard day of work. And I was so like shocked and like it's like didn't even register. I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's not even doing a backhanded compliment. He's just insulting you.
Yeah.
And so I go, oh, I'm just a little tired.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
I like put the toilet paper in my cart and then I keep walking. And I was like, the whole time I'm thinking, what a dick. Like who
Yeah.
says that to somebody? And I've never in my life had anybody just be mean for no reason.
Yeah.
Mean for no reason. So the whole time I'm shopping, I kept passing him and my little finger would go up every time I would walk by.
I do that all the time.
Do you really?
I do it all the time.
You give the finger.
But like a little one.
Yeah, just a little
Down
finger.
low.
Mhm.
So that if they don't like look directly at it, then they'll never know.
Uh-huh.
But if they do, I could be like, just like stretch a different
whoopsie
finger.
daisy, yeah.
But no, I do it all the time.
Well, he looked at one point and I kept it. And I kept eye
Oh.
contact with him like, I'm sending you a message, dude.
The creepiest.
This is why this gets really awkward, okay? Because it's going to get really awkward in a minute. Because I made like, he kept passing me and it was awkward. And I
Yeah.
think that he realized what he said was shitty.
Yeah.
And so then he realized I'm giving him the finger every time I'm walking by him. So then that made it doubly awkward. So then I decided to triple down. And once we are in the parking lot, he is leaving at the same time I am. And his car is like 2 or 3 cars away from mine. And I go to put my cart away. And I could have just put the cart away and left. But
Oh
then
my
I thought,
gosh.
you know what? I'm going to school this little asshole.
Oh my gosh.
So I turned to him and I said,
I'm so nervous.
hey, just a word of advice. Don't ever tell anybody they look tired or like they've had a hard day because that's kind of insulting. And he goes, oh, I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, I didn't mean it that way. He said, I noticed your shirt was an elementary school shirt. So I figured you must be a teacher. And really what I just meant to say is I bet you work hard at your job, but it came out totally wrong. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, have a good day.
You've been flicking him off this
I've
whole
been flicking
time.
him off the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, but you know what? I don't care.
It's
I'm like, somebody needed to school him. Well, buddy, think about your words first before you say them.
Yeah, that's like the most Diana Clem thing I think you've ever done.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly who I thought. I'm like, you know what? I think I am going to pull a Diana Clem right now.
Oh
And
my gosh.
just go ahead and school this young man.
Yeah, that makes me so uncomfortably hot.
Oh, I know. not in a sexy way. You
No,
you
no,
said
no.
that made it sound like it
Ew,
was
no,
sexy.
just like, oh my gosh. Like when she called the radio station to complain about, let's talk about sex.
Oh my gosh. And she was so mean to them.
I know. And they were like, we didn't write the song. We
didn't
like
write the
have to
song.
play it.
It's like, I'm the secretary. I don't even know. I don't even have anything to do with who's playing what music.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I get where Diana Clem's coming from now.
I know, I get
I'm
it
like,
too.
that guy needed to know, like, that was a dickhead move. Don't tell me I look like I've had a hard day of work.
Plus, it's a Sunday, and you know you're
And
a
that's
school
what
teacher.
he said. He goes, and I realized it was a Sunday and you probably didn't work today. I'm like, yeah, I didn't. I didn't work today.
Yeah, not at my job, but I worked. And I don't care that I look it. I'm going to Meyer.
Right. And you could just be like, hey, I bet you work hard as a teacher, don't you? And oh, yeah, I'm wearing my shirt.
Or even like
Thanks for your service, teacher.
when you apologize, don't apologize to me. You're a teacher.
yeah, exactly.
You're doing great things.
You're the one that has to work so hard as a teacher. Like, if you're going to try to compliment me, go direct into the compliment.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. He was just an awkward guy. He was just trying to make, like, casual. Who knows? He could have been trying to hit on me, but that backfired. I'm like, oh, see that guy giving him the finger every time I pass him by the
That's so funny.
macaroni aisle.
Oh, gosh.
So anyway, like I said, I don't know. I'm just awkward this weekend. I think it was all the brain cells that I killed on Friday night.
All right. Well, cool.
But I don't want to be awkward with you. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I wasn't obsessed with you all weekend long.
Okay. As long
I've
as you're
loved-
sorry about it.
I've loved every single one of the TikToks you've sent me.
Yeah, that's helped.
And I love that you told me I can now download TikTok, but I haven't done it yet. Aren't you proud of me?
I am proud of you. It would be really easy for me if you would. But
Well, maybe as a I'm sorry to you, I should do that for you.
okay. Yeah. Blame it on me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to, but
Right. It's for our relationship.
that's right.
Oh, goodness. I have nothing to report except that Okay, first of all, I told you a little bit about that book last week.
Oh, yeah.
It
getting
was
good.
I finished it. It was so good.
Okay.
And then I was like, look, it's a Netflix show.
Ooh.
I got so excited. So the book follows like 5 different couples.
Mm-hmm.
And the Netflix show, the premise of the company, like having your genetic match, is the same.
Okay.
Aside from that, every other storyline is different.
Oh, no, that's weird.
Why would you do that? Like suddenly there's a weird murder that I don't care about.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
a perfectly great
what?
book.
So I watched one episode of that stupid show and I'm not going to watch anymore. And I'm really pissed about it.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know. And then I started another book that we don't need to ruin one because we're ahead.
Oh.
But it's so freaking frustrating and I want to ruin it for you.
Oh, well, get to it. Well, we can ruin another one tonight.
Well, girl, you say that now, but we
Okay.
also have to do Am I the Asshole?
You're right. By then I might not be alive if I continue to drink the way I drank Friday night. Well, I watched Apple Cider Vinegar.
Okay, is that the one about cancer?
Yes.
I want to watch it. What's that on?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It was very interesting. I didn't know if I'd like it or not, but I got into it really quick. Like about
the
2
person
episodes.
who faked cancer, right?
Yes, but then it's like simultaneously with a person who really does have cancer. And so she's kind of like mimicking.
Is
off
it a
of-
movie or is it a
It's a show. It's like a
documentary?
limited series. No, it's not a documentary. And in
Okay.
fact, they start every episode with one of the characters saying, "This is not a true story," or "This is a true story based on limited truth." You know, it's like
Yeah.
basically the characters have been a bit fictionalized
Okay.
and whatnot. But you can look up the real person who
Mhm.
it's based on.
Okay.
And she was an influencer and like started it right up with when Instagram became a thing.
Yeah, I've
was, like,
seen her
right
a little
at that
bit.
time.
Like I've seen some of her interviews.
Yeah, she's a pretty shitty person.
Yeah.
Let me tell you
sounds
what.
Like it.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. I watched that, and then Severance is getting weirder and weirder by the week. Just so you know, every week I'm like, damn, this is. I mean, I'm hooked. I'm in it, but I'm still like, this is the fucking weirdest show I've ever seen.
Would you still recommend it?
Not to you.
Okay, cool.
I would recommend it to anybody else, but not to you.
Oh, I feel left out again.
Oh my gosh. Only because I know your style. I think that you'd be like, what in the hell, Megan? I just don't. I think it's too off the wall for you.
Okay, I sometimes like off the
Okay,
wall.
well, girl, be rebellious and watch it then. I
No.
would love nothing more than for you to watch it, but I just don't think you'll like it.
I'm not gonna watch it.
I mean, it would just be funny to see if you picked up on season 2 and if how good I did with season 1 and
I
see
feel
if
like you did a great job.
see if it makes any sense now. We watched also. I made James watch Scary Movie last night. I knew we weren't going to watch it because you had to rent it.
Okay,
Heretic, and it's got
is that Hugh Grant?
it's got Hugh Grant in it.
Okay, haven't seen it.
Aaron, two things. By far the stupidest movie I've ever watched in my life,
Okay.
with probably the scariest like scene.
Oh,
Maybe. I mean, it was like the like, I don't want to give it away what it was, but the scary person in it, like evil person or demonic or whatever,
yeah.
was by far one of the scariest. Like, oh my gosh, get me away from that.
Ooh.
So while it was so stupid, and I don't recommend watching it, maybe just for that one scene.
Okay.
Or a couple of the scenes. But I was like, are you serious? I'm like, I am so sorry. I hate when I have to apologize to James because to get him to watch a scary movie is a big deal to begin with. And then he's like, okay, yep, let's do it. Let's find. Well, I'll watch it. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. And we're laughing.
Oh,
We laughed through a lot of it. And I was like, I'm sorry. But of course, he's like, no, don't be sorry. I'm glad it went this way and not the other way. Like, you big baby.
right.
So anyway, don't watch that unless you just want to see a real scary scene.
Okay. I watched a real cute movie called Plan B. There's like a bunch of movies titled Plan B.
Yeah.
The one from 2021, it's on Hulu. It's about like these 2 young girls who one of them ends up needing Plan B.
Uh-huh.
And then they have a hard time getting access to it. And it was like a cute little movie about friendship and like their
Aw.
little adventure. It was really fun. I
Okay.
watched that on Friday night because Kevin had to work.
Okay.
Happy Valentine's Day to me. And then I watched a little.
Should have invited you out with Caitlin and I.
Yeah.
And
well,
Matthew. She had a husband too.
You and Caitlin. So fun. And then I watched, it was like a fluff as in like, I will never think about this movie after this weekend, but The Gorge on Apple TV.
Oh, I did want to see that.
I watched it with Kevin and Sophie this morning.
Is that where there's like something scary down and depths of something? That looks kind of good.
And their monsters were some of the best monsters.
Mm.
Like, you know how usually when you see it, you're like, oh, that guy looks stupid.
Right.
You're like, I'm not
It was
scared
scarier
anymore.
before I saw it.
Yeah, no, these are pretty scary.
Okay.
And there's many times where I was hiding under my blanket
Oh.
and going, no.
Oh, James and I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, it was good. James could handle that one for
Okay,
sure because it's like
okay.
action scary.
Oh, yeah. He'll love that.
Yeah, so I would recommend that one.
Okay, nice. Very nice. Well, then we need to wrap this up. I need to go watch a movie.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm just kidding.
It's probably time for a story. We've been
It
chatting
is.
for 20 minutes.
See, it's because I love you so much and I'm so obsessed with you.
You better be. Okay, I am going to read a story written in by Brittany,
Oh, okay.
but it's titled Jason's Story.
Oh, well, I'll try to be I'll try to be excited for Jason, but I sure do love a Brittany story.
That was not what I was expecting.
I got real excited when you said Brittany, written in by Brittany. I'm like, okay, I love a good Brittany story. And then you're telling me it's going to be written in by a man. So I just have to shift a little bit my mindset.
Maybe she's telling his story.
Okay, let's hope.
You know I didn't pre-read this, so who knows? All right, y'all hear from me all the time, so I thought a story from my husband was in order.
Oh, well, he's married to Brittany. Okay,
He's
I'll
got
take
good
it.
taste.
I'll take it.
Even though I'm writing this, it is his story.
Yay!
Best of both worlds.
It really is.
So here it goes. Are you familiar with an apport? A-P-P-O-R-T?
I'm familiar with airports.
If not, an apport is a paranormal transference of an object from one place to a completely different location.
Okay.
So like if I had a necklace on my dresser and then it like magically showed up in my kitchen.
Okay,
Would that be an apport?
or if like your necklace was haunted and then you wore it to a hotel, took it off, and now the hotel is haunted.
I'm going to read that again.
Okay.
If not, an apport is the paranormal transference of an object from one place to a completely different location. Kind of like teleporting in Star Trek.
Yeah, your way.
Girl, I don't know anything about Star Trek.
Nope.
That does not help me.
Teleportation. It's
Okay.
your way. It's
Okay.
from what it's like all of a sudden it's here and then it's gone and you just find it in another place.
Okay. Some people claim to literally see objects fall from the ceiling where there is nothing but a solid wall.
Who are these people? What are they on?
Probably they're on group hallucination.
No, but maybe group drugs. Just saying.
This story isn't quite that dramatic. The children's book I'll tell you about didn't fly through the house or anything like that, but it seems a bit too uncanny to just call it synchronicity. Before I get into the specifics of what we found just 2 days ago, as I write this, I need to provide some background on Jason and me.
Okay.
He and I love books. We cannot, and that's bold, we cannot walk away from a used book sale empty-handed. We also love a good folktale or weird children's fable. Interesting mythology, fantasy, sci-fi, witchy occult, cooking, art, architecture. You get the idea.
Yeah, you all are
You're
like
so
geniuses.
cultured.
And so cool. I'm like sitting here thinking, how would it be to be them?
I'm sitting here thinking, why are you listening to us?
Right. Go read a book,
I
Brittany.
love that you are, but
me too.
girl,
I love that you listen to us and that you write in.
we must be like her brain break.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, I actually want
I
to
need
feel
to dumb it
stupid
down
for a bit.
minute.
Let me
Yeah.
just listen to this dumb podcast. Oh gosh. Basically, the only thing we both care less about is the self-help stuff. I can't help but feel like those books are written by a used car salesperson type of author. We also know each other's personality pretty damn well. During a family trip a few years back, keep in mind, Jason picked up some book at a flea market, including one that caught his eye he thought I'd like. A beat-up children's book that he promptly forgot all about. Most likely buried in one of the overflowing areas in our house, stuffed with books we keep meaning to organize. I honestly have zero memory of him ever showing it to me. Fast forward to date night a few weeks ago. Jason was sorting Legos by type, not color.
Wow.
We live different lives. I was working on some artsy project. Oh, not that different. And we are having one of our late night deep thought conversations. Back to
I love it.
back to being different. We never, my husband and I never have deep thought conversations.
Oh, we do at like 1:00 in the morning. I'm always like, why? Like they're good conversations, but I'm like, no, I'm so tired. I'm going to be so tired tomorrow.
Kevin is like my college bro, and sometimes we have sex.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's pretty casual. We're pretty surface level.
Pretty casual.
I mean, I love the guy. I'd kill
The
for
guy.
him. But like, yeah.
We have five in the
Yeah.
hallway.
Like, we do not talk deep.
That's
Hardly
hilarious.
ever. Sorry, deep thought conversations about the mysteries of the universe. Usually they start by me telling him about the crazy dreams or weird coincidence or wild podcast episodes. The topic turned to how winter is such a powerful subject in lore and myth, and the various ways it's personified in stories.
Winter is coming.
Ooh.
What kind of weird ass reaction was that? It's from Game of Thrones, you dork.
I know, but then I was like, gonna go on, and then I was like, oh, I probably should have reacted to that, and then I didn't know what to do.
Bree's going to leave all that in there, but just for a little backstory, the first time I said winter is coming, Erin burped right through it. So then she made it awkward. Turned around to her.
You kept talking about being awkward. It's turned me into an awkward myth. The topic turned to how winter is such a powerful subject in lore and myth, and the various ways it's personified in stories. It reminded me of one of my favorite books that my grandma used to read to me. I couldn't remember the title, but I knew there was a little girl and she met all these men who, sorry, I was like, ooh, that sounds horrible. She met all these men who each ruled a season or weather or something like that. I thought a quick Google would solve the mystery pretty quick. I thought wrong. I should take a screenshot of my search history just to prove how many different ways I tried to describe this damn book. I kept getting the same book, Stone Soup, which is a good one, but not my book. I feel like I've read
Oh my
that.
gosh. Here's what's really weird about this whole story is that remember when I got both Erin and our other sister this book that our mom used to read us all the time. And when I searched for that book, Stone Soup kept coming up.
Man.
So I guess that was
PR's Stone Books PR
Yeah,
is working overtime.
right. I guess it must just be a really popular book around that time period.
Yeah.
So when you type in like children's book, because I knew it was like probably late 60s, mid 70s, late 60s and mid 70s was kind of the range I gave.
Yeah.
Popular kids book. I put in witch because it was about a little witch, but that's what kept popping up with Stone Soup. And I was like, it looks so familiar though.
Yeah, I'm almost certain we've read that.
Yeah.
Plus everything Mom ever read us was witchy,
Yeah, it was.
which was hilarious when she tried to get mad that I was reading Harry Potter years later.
And I'm like, Mom, your best books were always about witches.
Yeah, that's all we ever read. Okay, which is a good one, but not my book. I began completely ignoring whatever Jason was still trying to talk to me about as I got both more determined and more frustrated. I finally gave up and just did my best to describe the book anyway. And I could tell Jason faintly recognized the story. He said, was it months instead of seasons? Bingo. Finally, the algorithm figured it out, and I victoriously showed him Little Sister and the Month Brothers. Now, when he saw the cover, he finally recognized that he had actually bought that book years ago at that sale. He tried looking for it, but no luck. He even went online to see if he could find another used copy to surprise me for my birthday. That seemed to be the end of it. Neither of us brought it up again, and we ended up not buying another copy.
Which is wild that he just saw that book and thought,
Right.
oh, she'll love this.
Yeah, right? Like something's drawing it to him. But the book wasn't done with us. ... 2 days ago, Jason finally got fed up with the plushies, water glasses, and empty boxes of Kleenexes that the boys always seem to leave on his side of the bed, on top of the bedstand. I noticed the mostly bare surface, but still quite dusty, Jason, and the lone book that had been hiding.
What?
Under all that stuff, I did a double take from my side of the bed and thought, you have got to be shitting me. There is no way that lone beat-up children's book is The Little Sister at all.
Huh.
This obscure book that stumped Google, a special story of my childhood memories with my grandma that I hadn't even shared with Jason until our recent date night, was just sitting now by my bed. The fact that he even bought the damn thing years ago for me without knowing any of the other stuff is wild. But for it to be sitting there, seemingly out of nowhere, years later, after an intense conversation and search just a few weeks prior, it's beyond coincidental.
That is weird.
That is very weird. Of course, Jason is mostly focused on how proud he is of himself for knowing me so well that he bought the book in the first place. Me too, Jason. That's impressive.
I really am too.
Either way, he pulled some kind of magic with those Month Brothers.
Oh, so Okay, so Brittany never went back and asked Jason, like, did you find that book and you pulled it out after we
I think
talked?
she must have because he's so proud of it.
She
so
implies that.
yeah,
Wow, that is really weird. That like, let's say back when he found it, he put it on his nightstand. It's just been there ever since, and nobody noticed it.
yeah,
What are the odds of that? I mean, I don't know how messy your nightstand is.
right.
She did say it was pretty dusty, but that would be pretty wild
But
if
for
it's just
years,
been
that's
sitting
crazy.
there for years.
Yeah. That's like, I remember I lost a necklace. So our mom had a ring that had 3 diamonds on it. They were all the same size. And she lost it. And then when she found it years later, or not years later, but when she finally found it, she decided she wanted to, like, she never wore it. Dad upgraded her ring. He got her new ring for an anniversary. And he took all 3 of those diamonds and made necklaces for the 3 of us daughters. And then I lost that necklace and was heartsick about it. And we looked all over the house. Like first I looked by myself for like a month. You guys were already out at college. It was just me at home. And I didn't want to tell mom and dad. And finally I was like, I'm so sorry. I've lost it. I've looked everywhere and I cannot find it. And I mean, we looked for about 6 months. We would all the time be looking again. And then one night on my way to brush my teeth, I passed the little table that I pass every single night to brush my teeth. And it's just laying there. And I asked everybody. And like dad goes into that. That's the fancy living room, not fancy, but I don't know,
Right,
formal
the sitting room.
The sitting room. I know we sound like we are super posh people. We're not, but the room in the front that's got a little clock that he has to go and wind. He was there all the time. Everybody who was living at the house knew I was looking for this necklace, and people weren't like in and out all the time. They wouldn't have put it there, even if they
it's
were.
weird.
It was very weird.
See, I always like stories like that and stories like with this little book. I just would pay money to see the other side of that story. Like there's got to be some other explanation that is like equally as mundane as like you walking past there every day. Like maybe somebody found it or maybe somebody took it and they didn't want to admit to it and they decided to give it back and they just set it there for you to find. I don't know. It's just so weird. The book, like she has children. How old are her children? Do we know how old Brittany's kids are?
I don't know. I want to say like 8 and 11.
Okay. Well,
I don't know why.
I don't know. Maybe one of them found the book and then just happened to like read it and then put it on dad's nightstand. And he's a guy, so he's just kind of oblivious. He didn't ever notice it until a week later. Then all of a sudden we're talking about it and then there it is. We notice it because it's there. Like, wouldn't it be fun to see? Or if it like floated in the air, and that would be fun to see too.
That would be
but
very
like,
fun to see.
Either way, no matter what, it would just be neat to like watch a little video of the other side of the story.
Yeah.
Like what happened?
You know, like when you die, you get to learn like all of the universe's mysteries.
That's going to be
That's
yours.
going to be yours. Mine's going to be Jean-Michel.
Benet.
Yeah. What is her name? Benet Ramsey.
Jean-Benet Ramsey.
Jean Benet, not Michelle.
I
I made
don't know
it
why you
Michelle.
said Michelle Ramsey.
Threw
is
me
what you
off.
called her.
Threw me off.
Jean
Jean Benet.
Benet. Yeah, me too. I was like, what are we talking about
I
here?
don't know. It
but
was
yeah.
going to be Jack the Ripper, but they solved that. Did you hear that?
No, who is
100% DNA match.
Shut up. Who was it?
I don't know.
Was his
Never
name
heard of
John
him.
the Ripper?
It sadly wasn't Edgar Degas, which is my favorite rabbit hole to go down. He was like the famous artist who paints all the ballerinas.
Oh.
And there was some
You
lady.
thought it was him?
There was some lady on TikTok who was like, my favorite conspiracy is that Degas
Ooh.
was, and she goes through, and everything she says, you're like,
It
I
could be
think
him.
it really was him.
Oh, weird.
It was really interesting, but it wasn't him. It was
So just some random guy. Some
random
Joe
guy.
Schmo, huh?
Yeah, they had suspected him for a while, but
How did they get his DNA now?
some scarf that was found?
Oh,
on
brother.
the
I don't
victim.
believe it.
I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, but how did they get the man's DNA that they believe it was from?
Ancestry.com eventually
What?
worked down the line.
That's crazy.
I know.
I don't know that I believe in all that.
Science. You're like, I believe group
No.
hallucinations is science, but
I
DNA
believe in science,
match.
but I'm like, but like DNA from a scar. What year was that?
I want to say it was like early 1900s.
Yeah, like that's so long ago for them to be able to find DNA and 100% match. Anyway, I don't know, just a little skeptical about that too. A lot of people could just say some things. Anyway,
It's almost like a lot of people could be like, all those people saw that ghost right in front of them. They're probably all, I'm going to say they all had a mass hallucination.
yeah, because that's just legit. That's science, baby.
Science works for you when it works for you. Yes, I'm
Yeah, I
ready.
could say the same for you. See how that works? Okay, so my story also was harangued by a fan favorite, Rue,
Awesome. Thank
Fan
you,
favorite.
Rue.
and editor of the pod.
Integral partner.
Yes. She's right here with us right now.
Without Rue, this podcast would have quit a long time
It
ago.
really would have.
Like this podcast, I mean me.
And then it would have just been me, like, talking into oblivion because I don't know how to edit or put up microphones. So, yeah, it would have just been me talking, which did exist before this podcast, but I'm glad now it's for a reason. Okay, so this story, Rue got us a couple weeks ago, and here we go. So I don't know who it's from. I guess anonymous. During a rough time in my life, my boyfriend, now husband, and I decided to move back to his hometown, Fayetteville, Tennessee. After staying with his family for a few months, we finally found a place of our own. It was this antique house that had been built in the late 1800s or early 1900s,
Wow.
and it had been subdivided into apartments. The top story is all one, and then the bottom half was divided into 2 different apartments, so 3 in total.
Okay.
We were lucky enough to have the top one. My husband joined the Army 3 days after we got this apartment.
Oh.
He got shipped off to basic immediately.
Oh, that
So now
sucks.
it's just me in the apartment. I've never lived by myself before, and I'm also 7.5 months pregnant at this point with our
Oh.
first child.
My gosh.
That is a lot.
That sucks.
Things were a bit challenging at that
I
time.
mean, it's so exciting that you're having a baby. But
Right.
it sucks that you have to live in a really old apartment all by yourself when you're
probably
probably
the
nervous.
first time ever, right? And pregnant.
Nervous about everything.
Oh,
I was
gosh.
nervous for 9 months with my first
Oh,
pregnancy.
absolutely. Absolutely. Things were a bit challenging at that time, I'd say so. I was learning how to live by myself, something I had never done before. And then there's all the emotions of your spouse being gone and trying to figure out what normal looks like and all that.
Hmm.
A few months go by, and now I had had our son, and my husband got to come home for leave.
Oh, good. That's always so sad when they don't get to come back.
I know, right? It was after I had our son that things started to get weird. I walk into my bedroom one day, and my son was asleep in his room. I saw smoke mid-air above my bed. Now, in reference, it looked like vape smoke, but I was the only one in the apartment, and I hadn't smoked in several months at this point.
Oh,
Because I
gosh.
couldn't find an explanation, I just chalked it up to being a weird event and went on as usual.
Oh my gosh, that's something.
That is
Vape
something.
smoke is like
Misty,
like
isn't it?
dragon smoke. Like, why is there
Yeah.
so much of it?
It is. That's a lot.
It seems like you're trying too hard, guys. Like, calm down. Like, somebody wants attention.
Yeah, right. It reminds me of that TikTok you sent me.
I don't remember.
Oh gosh, where she's like, things that want attention.
Oh,
And then when she's like, the hiccup. She's like, not people who have the hiccups because they can't help it, but hiccuping itself. It's like, it's a bodily function that wants a lot of attention for happening. One night, I decided to find a way to relax by taking a bath. I lit some candles, turned off the lights, and sunk into the tub. I leave my door open because my son is asleep in the other room, and I don't have cameras at this point. I just have a sound monitor because the apartment is small. Anyway, I left the door open so I could hear him just in case. Like always, right? Kids ruin
Right.
everything.
you're
It's like,
never off.
you're never off. It's like I got to take a bath, but I got to have the door open. I can't have hot steam in here because I got to have the kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you what, they're worth it. I love them. I'm taking this bath, and suddenly I hear a knock outside the bathroom door. I would hear if someone was coming up the stairs. Like I said, it's an old house. It's all wood. It's really creaky. I would hear it.
Yeah.
And again, the door is wide open. I would see them, but there
Oh.
was no one. It sounded different than if someone would have been knocking at the front door. It sounded a lot closer.
Oh,
So it was
dear.
alarming, but I'm like, okay, that's creepy. I go to bed, and that's the end of that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling
You're
you.
way too chill. You are way too chill.
So chill. Like smoke above the bed, knocking right at the bathroom door, and you're in the tub.
You're so vulnerable. You're naked.
You're naked. Your baby's in the next room.
Oh my gosh.
But
It's
you're like,
nightmare
well,
fuel.
well, that's weird. I'll just go to bed.
I'm sure it was nothing.
Yeah, well, get this. The next line. This happened twice.
Oh no.
Here's what I'm going to say to that. Well, you want me to debunk at the end? Okay.
Fully one-sided conversation. I love to be here for it.
Well, you at once upon a time, you told me to wait and debunk at the end. I remembered that thought, and okay, I'll just
I
go
don't
with you.
care. Debunk when you want to debunk.
Well, okay, here's what I'll say to that. I think that they live in a triplex, I guess is what that would be called. So there could be somebody knocking on the door underneath them. And it just, the sound carries. And it sounds like maybe the bathroom door is like right underneath her.
Yeah.
And maybe someone was knocking on that bathroom door. And it sounds like it's her bathroom door. Nailed it. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm not going to let you go over that one because that was a really good debunk. And I know you want to. Okay. There were a couple of times where I got so scared because I would leave the hallway light on and I would close my door. My son would be in the bassinet next to me and we would just be chilling. I love that. Watching
Clearly.
TV. Yeah.
Chilling
just
all the time.
Chill all the time. Chilling, watching TV, and I would see shadows underneath the door.
Oh my gosh. Just, okay, I'll give you the knock, but how are you going to explain
Pretty
that
creepy.
one?
I'm going to say old house, so faulty lighting. So while it looked like a shadow, it could have just been like the lights just flickering.
Come on.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
It got to the point where I would hear loud noises from my apartment and I would scope it out and again wouldn't find anything because you have to pass my door to get to the rest of the house. One day I catch my downstairs neighbor. She lived directly below me. We're just shooting the breeze while she was playing with my son. I didn't want her to think I was crazy, but I had to ask. I built up the nerve and blurted out, "Has anything unexplainable happened in your apartment, like in a paranormal way?" She then proceeded to tell me that she has vivid nightmares, and one day she woke up and there was a dark shadow creature next to her bed.
Oh, no.
She saged her house and didn't see them again. It got so bad that I almost moved out. I remember crying at church about it.
Oh.
I do believe something was in that house, but I also think that the hormones and being alone played a lot into it as well.
Oh, that is so creepy.
Oh.
I will give you the knocking. That's a good explanation.
Okay.
I
Thank
will
you.
say that I feel like you would know if someone was knocking right outside your door. You're right there, but I'll give it to you.
Maybe, unless it sounds like it's a knock that sounds super close and your perception is that your door is right there.
I just feel like it would sound more muffled if it was downstairs, but
maybe
I'm
not.
saying I'm giving it to you.
Okay.
But I'm not giving you shadows under the door being a flickering light
Why not?
because there's a difference in a flickering light than a cast shadow.
Not if you're on the edge and think somebody might be in your house.
Why was she leaving the hallway light on?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you.
I would not leave it on. I'd rather ignorance is bliss.
What? I would like to leave the hallway light on in case I had to get up and like open the door real quick and see what was out there.
No. Mm-mm.
If I'm by myself, I'm leaving some sort of light on.
No. Oh, absolutely not. Everything is
Are
totally
you serious?
dark.
Why?
Because I don't want to know. And I could know
You
if
don't
there's a
want to
light.
know. What if it's a burglar?
I would put a headphone in and they'd burglar away.
You really are ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. When it
No.
comes to paranormal, yes, I need to not know it's there. I need to
No.
ignore it
I need to
as
see
best
it.
as possible.
I need to see it. Let me see you. With the
I'm
shadow under my door, I'm opening that door and I'm going to take a look.
Yeah, I really need to sage this bedroom again. I'm really feeling weird stuff in this room a lot. Like, Birdie, I think it might be time to send me some more demon dogs. I'm feeling
I'm so sorry, Birdie.
weird.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at Aaron. I am so sorry.
Things are happening in my house, in my
Like
room. It's
what,
weird. I don't know. It's
Aaron?
just creepy feelings. And
It's
like,
because you're lonely, girl. You need a new puppy.
oh, I do need a new
I know,
puppy.
but just because you're lonely,
I'm trying so hard to wait till summer when
Yeah.
I'm like, that makes more sense.
it does make more sense.
But I want a new dog right now.
You every time you whisper in the podcast, I think she needs to stop whispering in the podcast.
I want a new dog right now.
Yeah, I know you do. You should get one.
No, I should wait for summer. Smarter
That
to
is
wait
the
till
more
summer.
logical thing to do. And also not a puppy. Mm-mm.
I know. Kevin
No.
showed me puppies today, and I
Nope.
was like,
No
I don't.
puppies.
I'm not even like those puppies are weird looking to me. They look like potatoes.
Well, you're just going to be right back at having a newborn, and you've worked so
I
hard to
know.
be so far away from that.
I know. I am the bad guy when it comes to dogs
Yeah.
because I'm the one who wouldn't let us get two. But I'm like, well, Ellie would eat another dog.
Yeah, that's not being a bad guy. That's just
But everybody, Kevin is like, maybe it's just that. I'm like, no,
Mm-mm.
stop. Like,
Mm-mm.
don't make me be the bad guy. That's crazy. I love dogs and I would love to have two at once, but we can't because she
Yeah.
would actually eat that dog. So even if she wouldn't, that's not a risk I'm willing to take.
right.
So I had to put my foot down there. And now they're all like, well, we should get a puppy. I'm like, puppies are so hard.
What's funny is that Kevin thinks he wants a puppy.
I know. And Kevin would hate having a
He
puppy.
would hate that dog.
Kevin sleeps all day.
Yeah, all day.
That dog is not going to let him sleep
Mm-mm.
during the day.
Not at all.
So I keep trying to tell him, and he does not believe me. But listen, he showed me some dog that had the word Mastiff in it.
Oh,
And I was like, first of all, that dog will be huge. And second of all, Kind of creepy looking when they're adults.
Mastiffs are the sweetest dogs, though, Aaron. You should get a cane corso.
No, it would die when it's 7. I don't want that.
You don't know that. Cane corsos don't die that young.
I don't want a dog so big that they've got health problems because they're so big.
Yeah, that is hard. Mastiffs, I think, are. Cane corsos are the smallest of the mastiffs.
King Corsos are the smallest of the mastiffs?
Yeah. Yeah, cane corsos are the smallest of the mastiffs. Have you not seen a mastiff, what are they called? Like the Scooby-Doo kind?
Oh, Doberman?
No, they're not Dobermans. They are tall. They're like as tall as your lighting right over there.
That's crazy.
Like they stand so tall.
I don't want a dog that big.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's too big.
But then I bet you'll never be afraid at night.
That's true.
You'll get your own hellhound. All right, so this week's fan favorite is the lovely Beverly.
Hi, Beverly.
Beverly, I've just noticed, very present on Facebook and recently, became like a Patreon, a free Patreon.
Oh, sweet.
Yes. So Beverly says, hello, ladies. I recently discovered your podcast through a Women's Generation X group on Facebook.
Wow.
Okay. Welcome. Come
who's
on
shouting
in.
us out over there?
I know, right? I wonder if it's a Women's Generation X.
That's you. That's your era almost.
Oh, gosh. I bet it was me. Well, I'm wondering if it's Pretty Good Moms. But would you think that would be considered in that? I don't know. Tell me which group it is, Beverly. I'd love to know. My love of all things spooky started as a little girl reading a book called this is the night about books, Blue Nose Ghosts at my grandparents' house. It was a compilation of ghost stories from Nova Scotia, Canada, and it would scare the shit out of me.
Oh.
I am also the mom and aunt who tries to find UFOs with the kids while out camping, scaring them shitless. I have started episode 1 of your podcast and have been binging it in the car and when I go to bed.
Oh.
I've been thinking about what I want to plug, and as a Canadian and a high school social study, so I don't think it's my pretty good.
Yeah,
mom
no, that's
group.
pretty Louisville.
Yeah, that's Louisville. Well, this is so exciting. I want to know.
I know.
I want to know which group it was. I've been thinking about what I want to plug. As a Canadian and a high school social studies teacher, I'd like to talk about the Gord Downie and Cheney Wenjack Fund. I think I'm saying that right.
Oh, wow.
WENJACK Fund. It provides access to education of the true history of Indigenous people in Canada and the true history and legacy of the residential schools in Canada.
Oh, wow. That's
Gord,
definitely important.
Yes, and that she goes on to tell us the story. It's pretty wild. Gord Downie was the beloved frontman and songwriter of the Canadian band The Tragically Hip, which what a great name. They were one of those bands that were huge in Canada but not in the U.S. Their music was the soundtrack of our camping trips and keg parties in the 1990s and when I was in my early 20s. They sing songs about Canadian places and Canadian culture. When Gord was diagnosed with brain cancer, he wanted to do something to really make a difference. In 2016, he asked all Canadians to look at Indigenous settler relationships in our country and do something. He spent the last moments of his life traveling across the vast country, meeting the Indigenous communities and leaders. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Cheney Wenjack was an Anishinaabe boy from the Martin Falls Reserve in Ontario. In 1963, at the age of 9, he was sent to the residential school in, Beverly, I hope I'm saying all these words right. I probably am not, so I apologize. In Kenora, Ontario. At the age of 12, he ran away from school, attempting to reunite with his family 500 kilometers away. His body was found by the railroad tracks a week later.
Oh, man.
He died of starvation and exposure. Gord put out an album and a graphic novel called The Secret Path. There is also an animation on streaming services that tells the story of Cheney. Residential schools were cultural genocide, and even though the last residential school closed in 1996, which is wild, that was like, that's
in
insane.
our lifetime.
That is insane. That was 2 years after I graduated high school. Nope, 2 years before I graduated high school. Oh, gosh, do the math, Megan. The legacy remains today. It is estimated that 6,000 children died in these schools that were funded by the government and operated by various churches. Unmarked burial graves of children are still being found at various former school sites across Canada. Gord Downie became friends with Cheney Wenjack's family, and they started the foundation. Although residential schools were a huge tragedy in our history, it was not taught to Canadians in schools. I learned about it as an adult and make sure that my students and my children are taught about this genocide that was funded by our government. So many issues around drug and alcohol addiction, broken family relationships, Missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls stem from the legacy of the residential school system. It will take generations of healing to alleviate the societal problems that come from years of sexual, physical, and emotional abuse inflicted upon Indigenous children in these schools, and schools is in quotation marks. Thanks for entertaining me every day with your podcast. I am not the skeptic and have a good story to submit from an experience I had 20 years ago.
Okay.
Beverly.
Come on, Beverly.
Yes. Well, Beverly, we definitely want your story, especially because you're a great author.
Yeah. And golly, of course we will. What can we do? Was there a
It
foundation?
just says bring awareness to.
Bring
So
awareness. Okay.
She says she just wants to talk about the Gord Downey and Cheney Winjack Fund. So I guess it is a foundation of some sort, but what an important thing to bring to light, and how these governments in so many countries want to hide and
I know.
not give credit to all of the things that so many marginalized people went through.
Oh, that's horrible. And listen, as a Canadian listener, Beverly, I keep seeing all these people being so, like all these Canadians being so mad at America because of our current government. And I just want to be like,
We are mad too.
we're mad too. Like,
Yeah.
I promise you, we are really upset too.
Please know that we are,
Yeah.
that not every American, and really I would go as far as to say is not true Americans, are happy about this. So
Yeah. I want to say not most Americans. I don't care what the election said.
I know. I like suddenly in conspiracy theorists as well, but I think some shit was rigged. I'll say that because I can't imagine that this is just not the America that I grew
I
up
know.
in.
It's really scary right now.
Mhm,
And
it is.
yeah, it sucks right now. And we, listen, Canada is talking about going to war with us, and I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't either.
I kind of hope you win.
Right. Right. And then, wouldn't that be great? Then we could all be Canadian.
Oh my gosh. It'd be lovely.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, Beverly, we're glad that despite our country's differences,
Yes.
that you're still listening, because hopefully you all do understand that we are not represented by, unfortunately, the leaders that have been chosen. So thank you for listening, Beverly, and thank you for bringing light to such an important cause, because
Yes.
we definitely believe the same thing, that these tragedies in our history are so important to educate ourselves about, but also
Yeah.
educate our students, our families, our own children about, because they are a part of our history. And the only
Yeah.
way we don't repeat them is by learning from them.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Beverly.
Yeah. Thanks for being a great teacher to
Yeah.
us and to your students.
Right. Awesome job.
All right, everybody. Well, that is it for the night. We're going to hop off of here and do some bonus content. So if you would like to hear that bonus content, you can become a Patreon. $3 a month gets you, actually, let's start free, like Beverly gets you occasional content for free, just bonus content. There's a 30-minute plus Aaron Ruins books out there that you can listen to now.
There you go.
$3 a month gets you weekly bonus content, a sticker, and a magnet. $5 a month gets you all that, plus our movie night once a month. You can find out how to become a Patreon. You can also find out how to contact us, how to submit information, how to put out merch, which I might be working on some new merch, on our website at myskepticalsister.com. You can also write indirectly at myskepticalsister@gmail.com. You can follow our socials like Facebook, Discord, TikTok, a little bit, kind of. Although we have 700 followers on TikTok.
What?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. That's the weirdest thing you've ever said out loud.
I know. I just saw it. I was like, that's crazy.
700 followers since TikTok shut down.
No, they've been steadily gaining. Every time I get on, we have more followers.
So weird. That is so weird to me.
I know, it's very weird. So anyways, maybe we have to start doing more of those. Who knows? We also are on Instagram. So those are our social medias, and you can rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen. That helps a lot. And leave a review. It's been a while since we've gotten one. We love to hear them. So if you just started listening, hey, write a review for us, please. We love you. We'll talk to you next week.
Ta valvutit. That's Inektitut.
All right.
La 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 la.
Will you give me a hand signal?
No, sorry. My hand was caught.
I'm like, just
My
say
hand
it.
was caught. I was trying to get out.
Rue doesn't care. What are you about to say? Like, shh, don't talk about something in front of Rue.
No, my hand was caught. Also, I said, wow. And it made me think of
Oh, wow.
Owen Wilson. I can't
Every
say that
time.
word without.
Who was it that sent that meme not too long ago?
I think it was Mindy. Wow.
Wow. I'm taking this bath and suddenly I hear a knock outside the bathroom door of the bathroom. So I just want to make sure I'm not saying it right.
You want to make sure
No,
you're
I wanna
not
make
saying
sure
it
I'm
right.
saying it right. I want to make sure I'm saying it right.